Have you ever taken something for granted and then wonder, how did this all start? When did the land become ours? Well, we're heading up into the Owyhee Mountains to discover the birthplace of modern-day Idaho, how early frontier life shaped our lives today through hardship, perseverance, and bloody conflict, all in the backdrop of one of the most beautiful and lucrative natural settings in the country. This adventure changed us, and we'll never look at these mountains the same way again. All right, Kate, it's been a while since we've been on an adventure.
Yes, it has.
Are you ready to go on one right now?
Let's do it. Let's get to camp.
We're still on paved roads. We're not even close to camp, honey.
Let's get to camp.
Kate and I have been married for 20 years, and while I don't claim to be the perfect partner, I have learned when to follow instructions. So, we drove hard and fast on pavement to find the road that leads to Silver City. We also found out that Nick and Liz from Zag Runner were planning on heading up there this weekend as well. So, if we ran into each other, we agreed to hang out for the weekend. So we just got finished airing down. We were going to take the hard way in. There's this really cool trail called Sinker Creek that goes through a bunch of different creek crossings, and it's just so late though that we decided to stay on the main road, the easy road, which we've never been on. So it says, we think it's easy, so we'll see how it is. I think it's gonna be easy though, and keep heading up to Silver City. So we're all aired down because we just hit dirt, and we're about to hit the road.
Why, looky there. There's a handsome Toyota parked on the side of the road.
Fancy meeting you guys here. Yeah. Well, we'll follow you guys up to Silver City. You're the one who did the route.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we're going to follow the Forerunner.
If you Jeeps need me to slow down, let me know. Ooh, I like Liz already.
It feels so dirty.
Honestly though, the Forerunner was leaving us in the dust.
Our poor Jeeps need to catch up. I shouldn't say poor Jeeps. We're poor because we have Jeeps and we spent too much money on them.
We're getting close to the top, I think, maybe the last quarter or so of the trail. And it's just been really easy. It's been pretty flat. Looks like it's been graded. Certainly looks like a maintained road. So we aired down, but I don't think we really needed to. I mean, it still is better for the drivetrain and for comfort and all that stuff. So I'm not sorry that we did. But this is like not a technical trail by any means. It's definitely green, easy, scenic, windy, and we've gone from the desert up into the forest now. We had junipers, and now we're getting more kind of conifer trees. And so hopefully we'll get up to the crest here and get a little bit of view when we get to the top.
Oh man, look at the light on the mountains right now. Goodness.
That is gorgeous.
As we approached the top of the Owyhee Range, I remembered Kate's instructions, and we went to work finding a place to stay for the night.
We may not have much of a road here.
It's potentially a campsite here. Should I go check it out?
Actually, yes, because I was just telling Chris, man, if there's a campsite right up here, it would be pretty epic.
I think we've found our camp spot for the night.
That night, we shared a meal and told stories, the warmth of the fire drawing us closer to each other. There was a sense of discovery in the air, and we could all sense it. My imagination was running wild with the things I thought we might discover tomorrow, but the reality of what the next day would bring us was so strange, beautiful, sad, and inspiring, there's no way I could have even dreamed it. Seeing the sunrise next to War Eagle Mountain is one of the reasons I love getting up early at camp. The colors and hues mixing with the dust rising from the Treasure Valley below was so good, I made coffee to try to find a perch and get a better view. We were camped in a little gulch surrounded by strange rock structures, and all around us were the peaks I've been reading about. War Eagle, Florida Mountain, Stormy Hill, all coming to life for me for the first time. Good morning. The sun is just rising, and we're just kind of getting a glimpse at the terrain that we're in now. And it's really beautiful. It's got these rock obelisks and bouncing rocks, and then a mix of like craggly trees and aspens and maybe tamaracks and junipers, regular pine trees. Yeah, it's like desert and forest kind of mixed together. It's really, really neat. It feels like something out of Fellowship of the Rings when they're like traveling from one place to another. This morning, we're kind of making a game plan. I think we're going to head down to Silver City this morning, check that out. I cannot wait to see Silver City. There's so many stories from that place. It was such an important part of Idaho, about how Idaho is settled and civilized, even if it wasn't done in a very settled and civilized way. And we're just kind of walking around, taking hikes, exploring, finding little treasures here. And I just found something here that I want to show you. Come check it out. So I was just sitting up here having my coffee, and I saw on the back of this rock, there is a plaque there, and it says, "In loving memory of Alvin Collins." And it looks like there's a box right there too. I haven't been in there to check it out, so let's go see it together. So this was just down the rocks from where I was sitting up there. There's clearly a sign here that says, "In memory of Alvin Collins, husband and father, February 27th, 1932, June 18th, 2005. Who was Alvin Collins, and why is this plaque here on this rock out here on top of a mountain in the Owyhees? I just want to go find out what the story is. And there's a box here. So curious. A geocache looking box. I don't know. Let's take a look at it and see what it is. No idea what we're going to find. So from time to time we come across these geocache things. It's so interesting to me that it's right next to this plaque. This bag. Some coins. Looks like a little guardian angel figurine. A coin that says, "Grandpa, I love you." I think they buried his ashes out here. I feel like I'm gonna put this stuff back. I don't think this is a geocache necessarily. Usually these boxes have kind of a note in them that say you found a geocache. I think I found a memorial. Clearly there's a sign, but I thought it was just a coincidence that this box was there. I'm gonna put this back and hide it away over here where it was, and be respectful to what somebody has done. Clearly in loving memory of a dad and grandfather. Wow, I need to go find out who this person is now. What a crazy thing to find on the side of a mountain. I still haven't been able to find any information on who this person was or why there was a memorial to him on that mountain. It's just one of those things that's hiding out in the Owyhees, along with so many other stories I'll probably never know. Back at camp, we pushed to leave early because we knew what a big day it would be. And before long, we were ready to hit the trail and go find Silver City.
All right, let's roll out.
To Silver City we go. Gosh, trails like these are making me think about dust lights in the rear.
Chris just said he needs some amber covers for his rear light.
We couldn't have asked for better weather in October for the drive. The sun was warm, the sky was blue, and we were all excited to see what was up here in the Owyhees. The main road is great, but there are plenty of interesting trails and offshoots that will no doubt bring us back up this way to explore later. The drive was only about 30 minutes, and before too long, the road opened up to a little valley at the top of a mountain where we came upon the coolest ghost town I've ever seen, Silver City, Idaho. Silver City was founded back in 1864 when silver was discovered at the War Eagle Mountain. It quickly grew into one of the most sophisticated towns in Idaho, claiming the county seat until 1934. The town had 12 streets, 75 businesses, 300 homes, and 2,500 full-time residents. It had a telegraph line before Boise did and was one of the first to become an electrified city in Idaho. These mines and the people it brought to it are largely responsible for the modernization of Idaho and the development of Boise as a staging and supply point. Silver City was also the center of bloody conflict, not only between the miners with claim disputes, but also between these new settlers and the Native American tribes who now had to compete for resources for the first time. Like most other mining towns, once the gold and silver ran out, the town started its slow decline into a ghost town. However, in the 1970s, renewed interest in the town began as people started buying properties and restoring them. And in 1972, the entire place was listed on the National Register of Historic Places, which is one of the reasons it's an incredible sight to behold today.
Are we driving through? Are we going to go up the park somewhere? What do you guys want to do?
Yeah, let's park and walk around. A lot of one-way roads.
Might be parking up here on the right.
Getting into town was easy enough, and as we pulled into a parking spot, I was blown away by how intact the town was. We got out, had a snack, and made a plan to explore. So we made it to Silver City, Idaho, and it's this really cool kind of ghost town. It's somewhere between a ghost town and not a ghost town, because there are plenty of buildings that are abandoned like a ghost town, but there are some residents who actually still live here during the warmer months of the year, and then they kind of winterize the entire town and just have one person stay and as like a caretaker to the town during the winters. And so it's clearly popular with side-by-sides and motorcycles. There's a couple off-roaders like ourselves who come through from time to time, but really most of the traffic in town is from motorized ATVs and things like that. So we're gonna go walk around and explore and see what we can find. I'm so excited. I've wanted to come here for so long, so let's go. This is a place where history feels alive. You can almost reach out and touch the past. The buildings are so well preserved that it feels like you can connect with the founders of our state. You can even stay in the 150-year-old Idaho Hotel, which looks just like it did for its grand opening back in 1866, a place that hosted weddings, balls, and the occasional shootout. Similarly, the schoolhouse still stands as proud as ever. You can imagine the town children being taught important things like reading, math, and how to recognize the brands from the ranches in the area. The old ice house still stands where the town would cut ice in the frozen ponds during the winter, pack the blocks with sawdust, and keep them in this little hut. And Silver City has an old Western church on a hill. Our Lady of Tears still watches over the sins of the city, of which there were many during its founding. And from its perch, it can also provide grace to a neighboring hill where the town cemetery rests.
Dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world.
So we're here at the cemetery in Silver City, and one thing that's really striking is just how young people were when they died. I mean, there's a lot of young, what we would consider to be very young. There's kids, which is, really sad, but their parents were dying in their 30s and 40s, and there's maybe some people who live to be 50 in their 50s, and it just really reminds me how hard life was in the West. Up here in Silver City, away from, services, but the truth is, the services were here. This is the best they could do. But I think Silver City was a bigger town than Boise at the time. Anyway, it's just a good reminder of how blessed we are these days. As we headed out of town, we made a mental note to come back here, but maybe when the town was quieter next time.
Have you guys been down this road before?
No, sir.
So if you want to take the fun way, you can actually splash through the creek on the left.
Challenge accepted. I mean, we'll always have to do the water crossing.
I'm switching into 4 high just for traction.
Good call.
Way more fun, good call.
Actually kind of a fun road to drive. Just enough corners, a little bit quicker going.
Besides being a fun and fast road to drive, this route was taking us down the other side of the mountain because we were working our way towards the Owyhee Canyonlands. Our destination was Three Forks Recreation Area, another beautiful and very historic place in western Idaho. This road was as easy as they come. I think a Mini Cooper could have handled this thing. But as we sliced down the hillsides and got to lower elevation, the beauty of the high desert started to show itself.
So Elsje, okay, these aren't juniper bushes, but what are these bushes? These kind of like tall, spindly ones? It's a type of sagebrush. It's like the prettiest sagebrush I've ever seen.
In the 60 miles between Silver City and Three Forks, a lot changes. The earth is covered with golden grass, and the trees are replaced by sagebrush in a landscape that seemingly goes on forever, stretching out to meet the horizon. These plains were full of conflict during the late 1800s. The Snake War between the United States and the Native Americans was fought throughout this desert, and the scene of some of its bloodiest conflicts is also one of the most beautiful natural settings in the region, the confluence of the three Owyhee rivers, also known as Three Forks. The drop down the side of the canyon was the only semi-technical part of the drive. It's a steep and rocky road with a few tight switchbacks, but doesn't have any major obstacles. And as you get lower down, the walls of the canyon start to reveal a rocky volcanic basin that's been cut by millions of years of water, flowing through the desert until it reaches the Snake River, the Columbia River, and eventually the Pacific Ocean. Three Forks to us, though, is a playground for recreation, with rafting, hunting, fishing, and of course, wheeling opportunities all around. It also has one of the most picturesque hot springs in all of Oregon, which Nick and Liz would find out firsthand later. We followed a trail to the very end of the road, then took a hard left over a few rocks until we found ourselves right on the edge of the Owyhee River. We situated the rigs, started setting up our tents, and just taking in this beautiful oasis in the desert. So we made it to camp at a place called Three Forks. Now, Three Forks is where three forks of the Owyhee River come together and form into kind of the main Owyhee. The place that we're at is Three Forks Recreation Area, and we have this spot that's right on the river that we call Rocky Bar. And it's because it's kind of a rocky bar that is covered during the spring, but is open during the fall because the river is a little bit lower. So we're camped just like right on this beautiful little rock peninsula. And if you've got a rooftop tent, it's great. If you've got a ground tent, not so much, but rooftop tent's really great because it's clean, there's no dirt, you're out on the water, it's cool, and you've got beautiful views all around you. It does get a little bit colder at night, so we're expecting it to be a little cold tonight, but all in all, it's one of our most favorite camp spots in all of Idaho. So here we are, Rocky Bar. Tonight, Chris is making dinner. He's making some special steak stuff, so I'm gonna go take a look at that here in a second. And he's cooking it on the Owyhee grill, which is maybe my favorite piece of like open flame cooking gear. It's this really cool flat pack grill, and Chris has become a pro at using it, so I can't wait to go see what he's doing. We're just going to relax, chill, sit down, enjoy the view, enjoy each other's company, and maybe stay warm by the fire. So let's go start all of that. All right, Chris, what are you cooking?
We're doing steaks with sauteed onions, garlic, and mushrooms.
Are you putting butter
Yeah.
on that? Oh.
Don't have like add a little extra fat to them.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna say please don't put butter on my steak.
It's gonna be kind of a rich meal.
And then what do you got going here? What's in the pan here?
So this is the onions, garlic, and mushrooms.
Oh, I can
They're all
smell it.
Sauteed in butter. Get it really nice and sauteed, and then deglaze the pan with a little bit of red wine. And then a little sprinkle of blue cheese on top.
So Chris is like working really hard, and I'm like trying to put a camera in his face, and he's like ducking and weaving and bobbing and trying to do work, and I'm like, what are you making? And he's like, I'm trying to cook. Get the camera out of my face. So I'm gonna put the camera out of his face and just let him do his thing. This day had been jam-packed, and it was time to wind down. Chris did an outstanding job making dinner, and we got a fire going on the Rocky Bar just in time to take in the full moon shining over camp. It's funny, I've never had a moment where there wasn't anything to say around the campfire. For some reason, the mixture of fresh air, firelight, and tonight, moonlight, keeps the conversation going. And going. And going. Good morning. It is late. I slept in. The mixture of it being kind of a cold night and having this new canvas on our tent that keeps it darker, plus lack of sleep probably in general, contributed to me being the last one up at camp this morning. So I am playing catch up. I am trying to get a quick bite and get a quick cup of coffee and get camp packed up so we can hit the road. I do not want to be that guy who's like the last one to pack up at camp. So we're starting right now. We're going to hit the road. And we're going to decide what to do. I think we're going to take a scenic drive no matter what we do, but we're going to kind of get on the road and decide based on how quickly we can pack up camp and how late it is in the day when we start. So I'm going to go do that right now. Turns out Nick and Liz were headed to the hot springs, so we said our goodbyes and headed out. Bye, Zach Runner! We climbed up the side of the canyon and quickly realized all roads in all directions were going to be great. So we pointed our bumpers north and started chasing each other through the Owyhee uplands. And I started thinking, how many trips like this will I have in my lifetime? 50, 60, 100? I bet it's not as many as I want it to be. And if there's one thing this trip taught me, it's that life is short, sometimes too short. So filling it with friends, family, and adventure seems like time well spent.
Panzerman, we're making the dinner and do the dishes because they're Panzerman.
For a second there, you became Bill Cosby.
Drop a roof eat some jello and then put the roof to drink.
Hey, if you like this adventure, make sure to head over to Zag Runner's channel to see a different perspective and watch Nick and Liz find this incredible hot springs.